Hi everybody, I have done that in numerous places around the world over the last 30 years with this gentleman. We've played together on many stages, drunk together in many bars in different parts of the world. But it's a great pleasure to have my old friend Thomas Blug here with us at Scan. Thomas, you're very welcome.
Thank you, thanks for inviting me.
These are incredible instruments and I want to talk about them later on. You've already gone through them for us. These are fantastic tools. But I realised that in all the time I've seen you talk, you're always talking, like I used to do, about products. You're always talking about things like that. Yeah. But I've never seen you actually talk about you as a guitar player. And you are one of the nicest Swedish guitar players I've seen in many, many years. Your tone's unbelievable, your playing's incredible. So where did Thomas Blug start as a guitar player?
Well, the thing is, my first hobby was electronics. And my second hobby was music, but I was a music fan even before that. And when it hit me with the guitar, I was already 14. I had a big music background from listening, and I'm a lot listening to British music. I like the Rolling Stones a lot, you know, The Who, yeah, a lot of, you know, Peter Green and stuff like that. And then my hero, when I picked up the guitar, my first hero was Ritchie Blackmore.
Okay.
I mean, he was...
So that's you and I both. Blackmore was always my hero.
Yeah. I mean, what he did in the early 70s, you know, was quite unbelievable. And then I was shocked when I saw first time Gary Moore. He was on German television, Rockpalast.
Who was he playing with? Would that be Coliseum or something? Would it be
No. This was his first... solo project.
Oh, right. Okay.
When he went solo with the Red Strat and Ian Pace on drums.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
And Corridors of Power.
Corridors of Power.
Yeah. So he was into the rock thing. I didn't know about his previous music by then, right. But I was simply shocked, you know, about his energy and feel and tone and yeah. So yeah, this was my starting point. And then, as we all do, we pick up things here and there, and you know, there's Steve Lukather comes along and whatever, you know. And
now, what I think's quite amusing is back at this around the same time, around the early 70s, mid 70s, over here amongst rock fans, there were a couple of German guitarists who were causing a stir. One was Mr. Uli John Roth, who was the original guitarist, played with the Scorpions. And for those of you who remember the Scorpions as being some sort of dodgy ballad band from the 80s and 90s, trust me, they were one of the heaviest rocking outfits you could find, and they sounded unbelievable.
Before that,
absolutely, before that. And then, of course, Michael Schenker, who I think is both a hero to both of us as well.
Absolutely.
The young Michael Schenker came across to these shores with UFO very early days. When did you first get to hear Schenker play?
Well, actually, I was a bit older by then, already like 16, 17. That's funny. I got the British guitar players first and the Germans second.
We got the Germans.
Who cares? But I have to say, you know, the tone and the feel of Michael Schenker is unbelievable. And what he brought to the rock music was, you know, this fluent improvisation, singing style.
Melody, I think.
Melody, it was melody. And I mean, if you look at the history, I mean, the Schenker brothers in the Scorpions, you know, this band was really dedicated. And back in the days when they worked on stuff, they had to learn from a completely different level. You know, that they were influenced by their parents with classical music and stuff.
Sure.
And then there was no GIT or, you know, any modern style of learning the guitar. You had to use your ears.
But I still think that's why certainly those early Schenker things with UFO, you could always sing the solos because
Absolutely.
they were beautiful melodies.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. And I mean, still up to today, all my compositions I do in my head singing.
Yeah.
And that this is what it's about for me. Melody is king.
Well, I remember hearing your first album, which I think was Beauty of Simplicity,
Yep.
but way back when we started together, I think,
Sure.
demonstrating, and then thinking, Jesus, this guy's got some fantastic tone, but he's got some fantastic tunes as well. So when did the tone thing happen? Because I think one thing's for sure, you are known throughout the industry as having a fantastic pair of ears. You really have got a very good pair of ears. And I think that's a genetic thing or a thing that you're born with. Some people just don't hear as well as others.
That's maybe one thing that's true. I found when I teach to other people, I find some people don't get it, and other people just have a sense for it. Well, my tone actually improved a lot when I had my first real trouble. When I started as a session player in the studio, my tone with my Strat was kind of thin, too thin. Right. And first time you hear it on a record, it's like, okay, you got to improve that. And I got aware of it. I got a conscience, how to get better. And then suddenly I was digging deeper and deeper into Hendrix, into what he was using on different records, and buying more amps and more cabinets and everything. And this was actually the starting point for my tone awareness. I have some old records where I had some tone in the fingers, but when it comes together, which means the tone starts in your head, what you want to say and how it should sound, and then it's the choice of guitar and the gear and the way to play it. And only if everything is at the high level, you can get the tone that touches people.
Sure. But I think it's an interesting thing you said back then, because I remember a long time ago sitting on both sides of the fence as a sound engineer and as a musician.
Yeah.
It used to annoy me when guitar players would come to a studio and expect the engineer to make them sound good. I mean, that's your job to sound good when you get there. Yeah.
I mean, if what you deliver as a guitar player is not happening, any other studio spice will not really make it better. I mean, it's just like a bad meal. You put more salt on it and then it's off,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about this. This is your own company now, and this is a big step for anybody.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anybody out there who thinks, oh, these guys, they go around the world, they play guitar, they get, drugs, sex, booze, whatever, they have a fantastic life. Actually, sometimes we take a risk, and I think it has to be said, Tom, you've invested heavily in your own belief here. This is your no-compromise solution.
Right.
And it's incredible to see. When I first heard about it, I was scared because
Sure.
I really, really wanted it to be good. And I thought, what am I going to do if this isn't right? And then I heard it, and I heard it in a store with some other guys who were hearing it for the first time. And I watched everybody's face go, wow, this is really... And I have to say, again, and people could say, well, you would say that, wouldn't you? But the minute I got one of these, it replaced everything else in my studio in terms of what I used to record with. Wow. So how did this come about? How did the idea come about to do BluGuitar?
Yeah, well, having all the great amps in my collection, all, Marshalls, Fenders, Voxes, you name it. And the background with companies I work for, Steinberg, Hughes and Kettner, and others. I came to the point, something must be new in this industry. I've seen all tube amps for all my life. It is good, but nothing changes. And I have seen a lot of attempts in the transistor world and in the digital world, and things are getting better, yes. But for me, the time was up to combine all my knowledge into something I can believe in, which is, I want it to be all analog. There's no conversion from in to out. It just does what a real good tube amp does, but it has a different circuitry. It's using smaller components, but with my experience, I know which components can be smaller, which one I need to
Keep the same.
keep the same.
Yeah.
And nobody could follow that. And
But I still find people who still think this is an effects pedal, and you
Sure.
have to explain and say, look, no, this is a genuine 100 watt head in a box.
absolutely. Well, this is how guitar players are. They look at something and they think, oh, I know it, because some people know everything better. But I mean, that's the risk, and that's the shocking moment as well. The moment somebody plugs this into a speaker and really cranks it up, it's scary.
Absolutely.
And I'm very, very happy. I have a few users like Jennifer Batten. I mean, she is flying all over the planet, and she bought one of my first prototypes, and she knows the tricks how to promote this thing. She plugs in and straight out of the person, and everybody's shocked.
No, it's very cool. And you also, this is the first time I've got to see actual Blue Box.
Yeah.
So this is, again, I think probably from your days at Hughes and Kettner, you were the first one to introduce me to the Hughes and Kettner Red Box as a solution. So this, I think, is probably your next step on from there.
Absolutely. I mean, I always liked the idea of the Red Box, being involved in it, and I used a lot of Red Boxes in my life too, for recording and touring. But I thought I want to step up with my sounds, and I choose the convolution technology to capture my sounds. And I kept the simple concept, and I just improved the sounds and the usability, and that's it. And I saw a place there, because you can have IRs on your software,
Reverbs and things.
and stuff in the studio, but for a live situation, then you need bigger stuff, and the laptop and the audio interface doesn't work, or anything in that direction costs at least twice the price,
Sure.
if not more.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the arguments I would use to people who say, oh, I need to get Kemper, or I need to get Axifex too. It's like, well, hang on. If you're trying to just get a great amp set, this is it, and it's that in the box.
I mean, there's nothing wrong about Kemper and Axifex. They offer you all the options, because they are on a digital platform, and in the digital world, anything is possible. The problem in the digital world is you don't get as deep in the non-linear effects. It's hard for them to get the real character going. If you want to have 100 variations of that, no problem, which makes sense for a lot of situations. But for me, I'm more the classic way. This is an electric guitar. It has 6 strings, maybe 7, and then you have an amp, and that's your instrument. The electric guitar to me is this and that.
Absolutely, and I think that's the difference, isn't it? The fact that you, in a gig situation, your amp sounds different at the end of the show than it did at the beginning, and it's managing those two. And when you see real masters up there like yourself, Guthrie Govan, people like that, who can really ride the two of them, it is a beautiful thing to behold.
Absolutely, yeah. And the magic to me in the electric guitar is still in the tone. And I found that if I switch too many tones, it's a distraction from the music. I mean, I have a pedal board, and I have all my 9 patches I'm recalling, but that's it. So I'm the analog freak, even though I have a digital technology used in the Blue Box, but it has kind of an analog feel. Absolutely. How to operate it.
So in terms of music outside of this, what are you doing at the moment? What are you doing playing wise? Because you were doing the Hendrix thing
a long time.
For a while,
and I still do this. I mean, Blug plays Hendrix.
That's a great show, I have to say.
Absolutely, and I still enjoy it, because we are different. We play Hendrix tunes our style, and everybody has its own connection to Hendrix spirit and vibes and songs. And I mean, I learned to improvise with this band a lot, and the more we play, the more fun it is. So every show is slightly different. It's not like something that is, static. No.
Well, if anything, Hendrix embodied the idea of not playing the same thing twice. So,
exactly. And I love it about it. And actually, this was leading to the next project, which I call Thomas Blug's Rock Anarchy.
All right.
Which means I play songs of not only Hendrix. I play Hendrix, and I play Led Zeppelin, and I play Deep Purple, all my heroes, all the songs. and whatever comes up my mind. And so it's a real anarchistic experience.
So you don't play them to the letter. You don't play them
No.
like a covers band would
No,
play.
no, never. If I feel the band gets to kind of a routine mode, I do something completely different, and keep the ears fresh, and the audience loves it because nobody knows what they really can expect.
Great.
And I'm inviting different drummers. I from the UK, for instance, Mel Gaynor.
All right, cool.
And this year's we have a guest, Mick Rogers from Manfred Mann.
All right, cool.
Killer guitar player too, singer as well.
Yeah.
And we had Jennifer Batten as a guest last year, and I played with basically every cool German drummer that I ever met. And the good thing is we need no rehearsal. It's like, hey, you know the songs anyway. So that's the Rock Anarchy, and I'm about to do a new project with the soul singer.
All right.
So that's something. It's not. It needs more time, but I can hear the music in my head. It's all there, but I don't know if I have the time to finish it this year, or it takes another year, or even 2 years. I don't care. It's in my head. The music already is there.
Cool. Well, I look forward to it. And as always, it's a great pleasure talking to you. We could talk all night, and
Sure.
believe me, we have done before now. Why don't we sign this off and play a little, get a little bit funky on our asses, okay? So, great to talk to you, Tom.